Welcome to Owning Pleasure as a Black Woman, where we celebrate the joy in just being you. I'm Natasha, your certified sex and intimacy coach and clinical sexologist. Just call me your guide to unlocking pleasure. With years of experience in helping individuals embrace pleasure beyond sex, I'm here to empower you to rediscover the beauty of pleasure in every aspect of life. So settle in, relax, and get ready to savor the wisdom and insights we're about to drop. This is your space to be present, learn, and enjoy the show. Hey there, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Owning Pleasure as a Black Woman. I'm Natasha, your host, your certified sex and intimacy coach and clinical sexologist. And these next few episodes are going to be spoiler alerts. I'm just going to start that off. They're going to be spoiler alerts. We are going to be talking about the Hulu series, The Other Black Girl. Now, before I get into my review on the show, I want to remind you that my twin baby, Owning Pleasure as a Black Woman, X, is available for you. It is a private podcast held on Patreon. You can also access it through Spotify. That elevates your level of pleasure, that makes it possible for you to tap into your more kinkier side, your more explorative side, and do it in a safe space where you can be you and ask the questions that you want to ask without shame, without guilt, and without embarrassment or judgment. So definitely head to the link in the show notes to check that out. So let's get into The Other Black Girl. Now, this is a book. I want to make sure I get the author's name correct. This is a book by Zakiya Dalila Harris. I have not read the book. I did not know that this book existed, but I saw the trailer for it on Hulu and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Now, this is 10 episodes. I promise you, they better come with another season because I'm invested and I need to know what happens next. But basically, the story is about Nella, who works at Wagner publishing company, and she is the only Black woman that is there. So hello, microaggressions. And then she has Hazel that comes in and is the other Black woman, and then really weird things start to happen. So she thinks they're an alliance. Hazel throws her under the bus, and then weird stuff starts happening. There's a book that's getting ready to be launched that is offensive on offensive on offensive, and Nella tries to let her supervisor know, and her supervisor's like, oh no, baby, you keep that information to yourself. We got to keep this man happy. And so if you have not seen it, definitely go check it out. It is this horrific but comedy, thought-provoking, what the hell is about to happen next type situation. It's giving Jordan Peele's Get Out. And I will say for the first 3 or 4 episodes, I was really confused of what was going on. I thought that Hazel was definitely trying to take over Nella's spot, but then she was so nice to her and then became like eerily stuck to her hip, trying to make her look like her. And I just could not pinpoint what the end game was. Now, after about episode 5 or 6, that's when stuff starts to be revealed about Hazel and the Black publicist, or the Black lady, that Diane, who wrote a book, and then you have her friend Kendra that disappears. It's a lot of moving pieces, but it's really good. And the reason I wanted to talk about this book, or not this book, because I have not read the book. The reason I wanted to talk about this show is because for some of us, we spend a good percentage of our time at work. And if we are in a space where we feel pushed out, where we feel really heavy and we're doing things that we don't want to do, that can make our lives miserable. And I can speak from experience. I was a completely different person when I was at my last corporate job. I was stuck in traffic. I had to put on a certain type of face when I went to work because you dare not do these things that you do as a Black woman. people gonna look at you crazy. And so I dealt with that. And by the time I got home, I was just tired. I didn't have time to do mommy things. I didn't feel like doing anything but going to sleep. And this series made me think about my experience there. The difference between my experience and Nella's experience is I was not the only Black person there. So I did have a support. I had a group. I had people that I could go to and talk to. I had supervisors. Let me tell you, I was blessed with the best of supervisors at that job. I swear to you, I was very much blessed. We actually had to have a Black girl meeting at one point because of how we were being scrutinized and how we were being looked at and how we were expected to behave in our particular department. But there's one, I don't even remember her name because I didn't even make the effort, but there's this white lady that keeps coming up to Nella, and we all have that one person that wants to be like, I have Black friends, and how can I be an ally? And can you explain to me how I can do this for you? And can we be friends? And can I touch your hair? And hey girl, and using the slang. And I just all I could do is laugh, is because I had plenty of them. There were hundreds of people in the hospital that I was working in. So there were lots of them. And all you could do is look at the other Black person in the room and cut your eyes, and y'all were both thinking the same thing. Nella didn't have that until Hazel came. But it also speaks to how we can latch on to other people when we feel desperate. Nella was so eager to latch on to Hazel when she first got there that she was willing to overlook a lot of things to not be the only. Hey sis, if you are a high achieving, influential Black woman ready to lean into your peace and happiness so that you can live a satisfying life away from your to-do list, head over to closetfreakchronicles.com/pleasure and let's help you find the peace that you need in order to have the most satisfying life yet. Now back to the show. And unfortunately, it could have led to detrimental things for her. There's this hair grease, and I thought about the hair grease situation because as a little girl, that's nostalgia, right? Sitting in between either your mom's legs, your grandma's legs, and getting your scalp greased before you get your hair braided or before you get your hair pressed out. That was a part of the process. That was the bonding process. That if you were to do that today, it would bring back so many memories. And I find it interesting that they used such a closeness, such a bonding agent to be able to manipulate these Black women into behaving. That's what it came off to me. Like, we need you to behave so that things can go the way that they need to go. Don't go out here with your wokeness, trying to shake things up, trying to fight for justice. We need you to behave. We need you to fit in. We need you to blend in. And I was like, that's so very true. That's so very true, because when you don't, you become a target. I remember being a target at work because I didn't smile. And I've done an episode on smiling and why it's so dangerous for other people that we don't smile as Black women. But I just remember always going down the hallway and it's just like, why don't you smile? Why are you so angry? And even at one of my first jobs, I can remember one of my white managers, I was standing behind the desk and I was just standing there. I didn't have any customers. I didn't have anything that I was doing. And she was like, I don't understand why you don't stand here and smile. And I was like, what? You want me to just stand behind this desk and just smile, even though there's no one here? I will look absolutely crazy. I am not doing that. I'm absolutely not doing that. And just how intimidating we are when we speak up, and how when the others in the area get uncomfortable, the way that they'll try to push us out. But then you have those black people that also want us to be quiet and to behave. So it was just something that it will get your wheels turning. I will say that. It'll get your wheels turning. It will really make you sit on the what is the answer? Right? Is there an answer to being able to be a black woman in the workplace and just be left alone? Just be able to do your job. Just be able to do the job that you semi or pay decently for, that they're asking you to do, and be left alone for it. That's all Nella was trying to do, was do her job. And because she was trying to do her job, they brought someone in to try to warp her brain, to make her into one of them. And I'm excited to see what the next season. I pray they bring back another season. I do, because Nella has infiltrated. She has gone to the top. It's almost like it's like a cult. It's like a cult of women that just want to be, because also there's this other element of it, of when you do succumb to the grease, to the greasing of the scalp, you have whatever you want. You can live the life that you want to live. And that is how Hazel got caught up, because Hazel's life circumstances were not the best. They were not the best, between taking care of her mom, and because her mom got sick at an early age, and taking care of her brother and not being able to get an education. It was just so much. And she was offered a life that she could only imagine, without the struggle, without the foolishness. By having this person's name under hers, she was able to get into doors that she never would have been able to get into on her own. And with the snap of a finger, it could have been taken away from her. And so that's how she was trying to explain it to Nella. Like, don't you get tired? Don't you get tired of fighting? Don't you get tired of trying to stand up to something that you're probably not going to get the result that you want? And I can say I got tired. I got tired, but my result was, I'm going to go work for myself. And I think that's how a lot of black women are. Like, I don't want to deal with this foolishness here anymore. Let me just go ahead and run it back, and I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to change the world the way that I know how. And so don't look at this and not want to be friends. Befriend black women in your workplace. Like, use your discernment. I definitely think that it kind of gave this concept of, you cannot be friends with black women, because there's Malika, and Malika is absolutely a great friend to Nella. She noticed things before Nella did. And even when Nella was like, girl, relax, you're doing too much, and picking Hazel over her, she rode for her girl. And so that just shows that there are these true genuine friendships between black women. And so don't let that deter you when you see this, but just think about where you've had to conform, where you've had to shut up, where you've had to see wrong and know that there's not really anything that you can do about it, because no one cares about your voice. Where you can't make reference to certain shows because no one's going to get it. Where you don't have anyone to look over in the corner and kiki with your eyes. How did those moments feel for you? Like, how does that make your life, and how can you make it better? And again, everyone's going to get their own ideals from this particular show. I'm doing 2 more episodes with guests as they give their review and their interpretation. This is just mine. It may seem like rambling, but that's how my brain interpreted this show. That's the levels that it did for me. Definitely go watch it and leave comments below. I'm going to ask the question of, how did you feel about the show, and leave a review, just so that we can, I would love to see the different concepts. I know mine may not be 100% correct, and my guests may not be 100% correct, but it gets the conversation started, and it sheds the light on how we as Black women are feeling in these places of being the only or one of a few. And sometimes we're the one of the few, and we're not even engaging with one another because one wants to conform and maybe you don't want to conform. So I thought this was very interesting. Again, leave your reviews. I appreciate you so very much for joining me. Again, I have my 2 requests. If you've been enjoying this podcast, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is very important to us getting in front of more Black women. And also check out the private Patreon podcast, Owning Pleasure as a Black Woman XXX, to go a little bit deeper into your pleasure, self-discovery, and empowerment. Thank you for being a part of my community. And until next time, remember to prioritize pleasure because you are deserving. Bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Owning Pleasure as a Black Woman, and I hope today's conversation has inspired you to embrace pleasure in all aspects of your life. Remember, your voice matters in this journey. Share your thoughts and experiences by leaving a review and stay connected with our community by joining our email list. The link is in the show notes. Together, we're redefining what it means to savor life and celebrate the joy in just being you. Until next time, keep prioritizing your pleasure because you are deserving. Take care and stay tuned for more empowering discussions. Bye.